Greetings, Code Monkeys, and welcome back to Superhero Month. I really need to do more game reviews around here, don't I? I like doing them, don't get me wrong, but games are really expensive, and I don't have that much disposable income. But thankfully, today's selection, Marvel Heroes, is free, so it has that going for it. But does it have other things going for it? Let's take a look and find out.
Code Monkey, get up, get coffee. Code Monkey, go to job. Code Monkey, have boring meeting with boring manager Rob. Rob say Code Monkey very diligent, but his output stink. His code not functional or elegant. What do Code Monkey think? Code Monkey think maybe manager wanna write goddamn login page himself. Code Monkey not say it out loud. Code Monkey not crazy, just proud. Code Monkey like Fritos. Code Monkey like Tab and Mountain Dew. Code Monkey very simple man with big warm fuzzy secret heart. Code Monkey like you. Code Monkey like you.
So yes, Marvel Heroes, the free-to-play MMORPG. You know, I really don't feel like beating around the bush with this one, so I'm just gonna cut straight to the chase. This game is really damn boring. I know! What's with all the boring during this year's Superhero Month, right? In fact, the reason why this review has the phrase first impressions in the title is because I found this game to be so incredibly dull that I couldn't force myself to play past the first couple hours. And I don't really think it's fair to call something a full review when I've probably seen less than 5% of the content. I feel like the best way to describe why I don't really like this game is to present you guys with a list of what I think makes for an enjoyable MMORPG experience, and then explain why Marvel Heroes doesn't really meet those criteria. Number 1, a sense of individuality in a large, diverse setting. As I've said before, one of the best ways to explain why something doesn't work is to give examples of stuff that does work. And when it comes to MMORPGs, the gold standard is pretty much World of Warcraft. There's no denying the game's massive success, and part of what makes it a good game is that you can decide exactly how much you want to be immersed in it. There's a bunch of options for character customization, so you can fine-tune your character exactly the way you like, crafting a unique individual avatar for yourself, or you can just randomize all the settings and play the game plain and simple. This kind of thing is exactly what is not present in Marvel Heroes. You have no option to create your own character like in City of Heroes or something like that. You just have to pick one of the heroes from the Marvel Universe and pretend to be that guy or lady instead. In theory, at least. In reality, the number of characters you have to choose from at the start of the game is pathetic because this game is based entirely on microtransactions. You can play the game for free, but if you want all the fun extras, well, you gotta pay for those, buddy. And no, I don't expect games to be given away for free all the time or anything like that, but I expect some actual worthwhile incentives that would make me want to pay. The effect that this limited character selection has is that throughout the game you'll constantly encounter other players who look exactly like you and act exactly like you. When you're playing something like World of Warcraft, you have tons of ways in which you can forge your own path and identity. But in Marvel Heroes, you are nothing more than just another Hulk or Storm or Iron Man in an endless ocean of Hulks and Storms and Iron Man. Any joy you might have gotten out of pretending to be the Hulk running around smashing dudes in the face is completely negated by the constant inescapable knowledge that there are hundreds of other Hulks out there who have the exact same claim to that title as you do. It's like being an uncooked hot dog sitting in the packaging. Maybe if someone cared enough, you'd be able to have some special toppings that set you apart from all the other hot dogs, but as it stands, you're just a little hunk of meat amongst a bunch of other identical little hunks of meat, and it's just plain boring. Number 2, varied and interesting gameplay. I will start off this section by saying that varied gameplay has always been kind of a sticking point for MMORPGs. Such games are fairly difficult to maintain, and they create a lot of demand on the developers simply by virtue of being an MMORPG. So what I really mean when I say varied and interesting gameplay is gameplay that doesn't feel monotonous. In most MMORPGs, the game is based around a quest system where you go up to an NPC, talk to them, and they give you a task. You go complete the task, go back to the NPC, turn in the quest, and you get your experience points. And often there's some other reward involved, such as money or a shiny new item of some sort. These quests are usually some sort of variation on the general mission types of go to a place and kill a certain number of a specific thing, go to a place and talk to another NPC, or go to a place and collect a certain number of things. You can see how this kind of gameplay would get repetitive, and it often does, but that repetitiveness can be overcome, often by keeping the environments varied and the enemies unique, or by putting these quests in the context of a story with some great intrigue or unique personality. At the end of the day, you might be doing the same thing over and over and over again, but as long as you're doing so so in pursuit of unique and interesting experiences, it works. Marvel Heroes is also sadly lacking in this department. All I ever did in this game was walk to a place, punch some dudes, walk to a place, punch some dudes, walk to a place, punch some dudes, just an endless cycle of walking and dude punching. Now you might be saying, well, of course you were, the Hulk doesn't really do anything besides punch dudes. Well, you'd be wrong about that. The Hulk also has interesting character moments with other people around him, but let's say for the sake of argument that yes, all you should be expecting to do as the Hulk is cause destruction. In that case, is it too much to ask to expect at least some interesting ways to do that? Let me jump up and smash a flying bike, let me make a sonic boom with a superpowered clap, let me pick up a bad guy and slap him around like a misbehaving largemouth bass. All I'm really asking is to do something besides calmly walk forward and punch a dude, you know what I mean? Number 3, an engaging story. As I said a few minutes ago, repetitive gameplay can be surmounted if the context surrounding that gameplay is interesting. And I must say, Marvel Heroes seems to have put very little thought into the context of this game. I mean, you're in the Marvel universe, of course, but when? Is this supposed to be Golden Age? Silver Age? Is this supposed to be more like a cartoon? Is it meant to be like the movies? I don't know, this kind of thing isn't really explained. And I'm not saying everything needs to be spelled out, but I can't lose myself in a setting that hasn't been properly established. There's a few little cutscene-y type things that kind of explain what's going on, but it really just boils down to this. You're going to this place to punch some dudes because S.H.I.E.L.D. said so. That's pretty much the briefing for every mission I encountered in this game. It's plainly obvious that the writers of this game didn't seem to think anyone would really care about the whys in this game, but a lot of people do, even if they aren't consciously aware of it. Take something like the Avengers movie, for example. Each one of the characters taking orders from S.H.I.E.L.D. has their own personal reasons for doing so. Tony Stark is doing it because he's trying to find out what's really going on at S.H.I.E.L.D. Bruce Banner is doing it because he wanted to avoid another Hulk incident when Black Widow showed up to get his help. Hawkeye and Black Widow are doing it because working for S.H.I.E.L.D. is their full-time job. Thor is doing it to protect the planet that he loves. And Steve Rogers is doing it because he feels lost, and S.H.I.E.L.D. offers something familiar he can latch onto, namely, trying to help the world out and stop bad guys. Now don't misunderstand me here, I'm not saying that I'm expecting this exact type of storytelling out of Marvel Heroes. They're different creative endeavors, and games and movies have different methods of telling stories. I'm just trying to illustrate the point that having just that little bit of context for what's going on in the narrative is very effective, and can make a lot of difference in how you tell your story. But therein lies the problem. Marvel Heroes doesn't really seem interested in telling a story. It's pretty clear that what it's really interested in is just being a basic, no-frills, bare-bones MMORPG. It wants to provide just enough to you that you might think it'd be worth paying for a few extras, and hopefully it can squeeze out a decent number of those microtransactions before you get bored and walk away. This type of game design just doesn't work. Players aren't stupid. We can tell when a game is being made with passion and interest, and conversely, we can tell when a game is being made by the numbers. Marvel Heroes fails to engage because it simply has no soul. It is a game completely devoid of any sense of joy, earnestness, or personality. Again, in the interest of fairness, I will remind you that I've only played the first few hours of this game, but even those few hours just dragged on and on and on, and I just couldn't motivate myself to keep pushing through it. And if after only about 2 or 3 hours of your game it starts to feel like a chore, that's not a good thing. Maybe the game gets a lot better later, I don't know. But judging by what I've been hearing about this game from other sources, I'm not really missing much. On the worth meter, Marvel Heroes scores a worthless. And you know what? I am sick and tired of Superhero Month being so damn lackluster this year. It's time to have some fun, and I know just how to do it. Hope you'll tune in next time, and until then, Code Monkeys, I will see you later. Is to present you guys with a short list of what I think makes for any joy you might have gotten out of pretending to be the Hulk running around smashing dudes in the face is completely negated by the constant, inescapable knowledge that there are hundreds of other Hulks out there who have exact same I keep running out of breath. Jesus Christ, it is really freaking hot in here. It's like 90-something degrees outside right now, and it's like nighttime. It's not fun. But I have to film this. I hope you people appreciate what I do for you. So yes, Marvel Heroes, the free-to-play MMO. Free-to-play. How intriguing. Oh my.